Okay, operators, take a seat. So, today, obviously, we're going to talk about the Pathfinder role, both in the United States Army as well as a little bit of history on the UK. Some people forget that the Pathfinder are actually an international group of reconnaissance. So, during the Second World War, small groups of parachute soldiers in the UK were formed into Pathfinder units to parachute ahead of the main force. Their tasks were to mark the DZs or LZs, landing zones or drop zones for those that don't track that lifestyle, set up radio beacons as guide for the aircraft carrying the main force, and to clear and protect the area as the main force arrived. So in the UK post-war, the regular Army's parachute force was reduced to the 16th Parachute Brigade. To provide this information with a Pathfinder capacity, the Guard's Independent Parachute Company was formed in 1948, year of our Lord, on the disbandment of Composite Guards Parachute Battalion. So the company deployed on a wide variety of operations between 48 and 1977. It was deployed to during the confrontation, and it was used to provide reinforcements to the SAS, and its professional performance resulted in the formation of G Squadron of that regiment in 1966. So these hitters in the UK, the Pathfinders, were often actually tasked out to provide reinforcement to the SAS. The Pathfinder role in the Territorial Army, basically the TA, the British Army's part-time reserve, was continued by 16th Lincoln Independence Parachute Company as part of the 44th Parachute Brigade. The 16th Air Assault Brigade employs elite Pathfinders in their Pathfinder platoons. So let's not forget that the UK definitely tracks on the Pathfinder lifestyle. Now, let's go ahead and track with America Pathfinders, specifically the United States Army Pathfinders. So, during World War II, the Pathfinders were a group of volunteers selected within the airborne units who were specifically trained to operate navigational aids to guide the main airborne body to the DZs. That's again drop zones for all you low drag pogues out there. The Pathfinder teams, also known as sticks, which still carries on today in a little unit that we know as the 75th. The Pathfinder teams, also known as sticks, were made up of a group of 8 to 12 Pathfinders and a group of 6 bodyguards whose job was to defend the primary Pathfinder unit while they set up their equipment. The Pathfinder teams dropped approximately 30 minutes before the main body in order to locate and designate DZs and LZs, drop zones, landing zones, as you were, and provide radio and visual guides for the main force in order to improve the accuracy of the jump. These navigational aids included compass beacons, colored panels, Eureka radio sets, you can go ahead and Google that, and colored smoke. When they jumped, the Pathfinders many times would encounter less resistance than the follow-up waves of paratroopers, simply because they had the element of surprise on their side, and you can believe that they were little sneaky freaking troopers out there. Once the main body jumped, the Pathfinders then joined their original units and fought as standard airborne infantry. So basically what we can get from that is, I know for facts, you have to be a grunt in order to actually receive and be an operational Pathfinder. You don't have to be a grunt to get the tab. Again, operational Pathfinders, more than not, are grunts from the 101st, 82nd. Really, Pathfinders could be anywhere located for a battalion size element. But once they go out and basically get the fixed and rotor wings, basically they rejoin their battalion and go ahead and track on as regular grunts, where the last build, hey, the CCT operators from the Air Force, that's pretty much what they do at all times. They don't necessarily go back to a line unit and get their grunt on. They're pretty much designated Pathfinders, so are combat control, and if you hadn't seen that, I'll try to link it up. So General James Gavin likes to claim credit for inventing the Pathfinders, pointing to the bad drops in Sicily as the cause. "Let us set the record straight," he quoted. "The 509th is the world's most experienced bad drop specialist." Basically, he's saying that the 509th, and the 509th I'm speaking of is the 509th Parachute Infantry Battalion. Basically, they would always miss their LZs, their landing zones, or DCs, drop zones. So he claims that he first saw the need for them. Pathfinders were separate teams of advanced men who jumped in ahead of the main force to set up beacons and other guides to incoming aircraft. So after the serious problems uncovered during the parachute drop of Allied invasions of Sicily, basically their sticks were getting scattered so much that the Allied High Command questioned the utility of even having the parachute infantry battalions because of the difficulty of dropping the infantry as a cohesive unit rather than the stick being scattered throughout. So with this being said, the Pathfinder mission had actually taken course into what it basically evolves to today. Through many campaigns to include Sicily and Italy, Normandy, southern France, Netherlands, Battle of the Bulge. They went into Germany, the Pacific Theater with the 511th Pathfinders, goes on through the Korean War and the Vietnam War. Some say that in Vietnam, that the actual Pathfinder mission was really established and was in use for combat effectiveness. So in Vietnam, Pathfinder infantrymen were inserted into areas to establish landing zones for air assault or other helicopter operations. Pathfinders determined the most practical landing zones, withdrawal routes, approach lanes, and landing sites for helo assaults in hostile areas. They themselves would then often be extracted with the helos. So with that being said, that just gives you a feel of what the Pathfinder mission actually is. Now, some people also say that the establishment of the air mobile divisions in Vietnam is actually where that occurred. The actual combat effectiveness of an air mobile division. The U.S. Army's 11th Aviation Group landed in country in August 1965, year of our Lord, and while assigned to the 1st Cav Division Air Mobile, expanded its Pathfinder unit to company size, creating the provisional 11th Pathfinder Company. While the 11th Pathfinder Company was assigned to the 1st Cav Division's reconnaissance section, units such as the 1st ID Infantry Division, 101st Airborne Air Assault Air Mobile, and the 82nd Airborne 3rd Brigade operated Ranger or Long Range Reconnaissance Patrol, fucking LORC companies with their reconnaissance elements. Let's not forget the use of the 1st Cav Division Air Mobile and their use with the Pathfinders. So we roll on past the post-Vietnam era, and all of a sudden it was like there was an explosion of Pathfinders and Pathfinder sticks or platoons. So let's go ahead and run down a little list here. Basically, you got the 5th Infantry Platoon Pathfinder, 26th, 27th, 54th, 79th Infantry Platoons Pathfinders. So the National Guard also activated 5 Pathfinder detachments, the 28th, 76th, 77th, 667th, and the 1136th Infantry Detachments Pathfinders, respectively. Modern Pathfinders still exist in a number of armed forces around the world. Most of them are senior members of parachute units and have earned the right to wear the maroon beret of the Pathfinders. Pathfinders in the U.S. Army wear the Pathfinder badge. That badge is also worn in other countries. Don't get it twisted. Modern Pathfinders also exist in Belgium, Brazil, Canada, France. They're pretty big in France, I must admit, with the Commando Parachute Group, also known as the GCP. They also are around in India, Netherlands, Portugal, South Africa, as stated in the beginning of this history, the UK, which I must say that the United Kingdom Pathfinders actually probably have a more historic history than that of the actual United States Army Pathfinders. So in closing, operators, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Pathfinder School as well. Basically, just hit on some key points of the Pathfinder mission. Army Pathfinders are specialists in navigating their way through foreign terrain and establishing safe LZs for airborne and air assault soldiers as well as Army aircraft. Many times they are asked to parachute into remote areas, navigate their way through unobstructed locations, then relay their coordinates back to a command center. The mission of the U.S. Army Pathfinder School, specifically, soldiers learn the following skills at Pathfinder School: how to navigate cross-country on foot, establish and operate a day and night helicopter LZ as stated, establish and operate a day and night parachute DZ as stated, drop zone, conduct swing load operations, and provide ATC and navigational assistance to aircraft within an operational site control zone. Oh, I can tell you this, I was jacked. I was so physically ready just to find out it's more a brain smoke than anything. You will use all your available time studying. You'll also be pulling out of the ruck a little geometry and trigonometry. So be prepared. It is definitely a brain smoke. So the Pathfinder lineage is definitely there, basically serving from 1943 to present. Obviously today I've been focusing on the United States Pathfinder. However, be known that they are all around the universe. United States Army, basically military training, part of the 1st Battalion 507th Infantry Regiment, garrisoned at Fort Benning, Georgia. Their mottos: first in, last out. So with that being said, operators on your feet, let's pathfind on downrange.
Gory, gory, what a hell of a way to die. He ain't gonna jump no more.
So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's Pathfinder build. Sergeant, really appreciate you checking in with us and tracking with us for today's build. So we certainly appreciate your time, and obviously we also appreciate you holding that line for us each and every day. And if you appreciate it, you can go ahead and drop that in the comments. Other than that, hope you had an amazing day today. I hope tomorrow's amazing. I hope yesterday was amazing. I'll catch you next video. Push, Sarge.
That's how we roll.
That's how we roll. 3, 2, 1, engage. Getting squirrely. Tracking left, Sarge?
Yep.
Range is clear. Range clear.
Range clear.
1, 2, range clear.
Range clear.
We have range clear. Range clear. Holster your weapons, sling your weapons.